Good afternoon, everyone. Going to start you back here. 1902 views of Jupiter compared to today. Whoa, the storm has switched hemispheres. Uranus, 1902, double rings bound tight. 2014, loose, just like our jet streams. Ring of Fire eclipse, did you see it? What's with all the dam collapses, this time in Sikkim? Also another in Cameroon. Afghanistan, third, 6.3 quake in the same area. Wait, fourth in the exact same area. Also shaking Papua New Guinea, Mexico. I'm beginning to wonder with the cycles in our heavens. We see so much change immediately. Civilization cycle seems to be the electromagnetic cycle. And I found this Waters Above the Firmament, Earth's Angular System, 1902. And they had some images here of Jupiter and Uranus, two of the gas giants. I wanted to compare those with today's images. Quite easy to do. The reason I bring it up is this Tree of Life alignment, 2024 October, has been ingrained deeply into religion, so we would not forget the signs in the skies. Suddenly, these things are happening across our planet. I'll wide that out for you so you can get a better glimpse of how those planets plug into the different nodes on the tree. And if you were lucky enough, you got to see full coverage of the Ring of Fire. We only saw it at about 60%, maybe at best here, East Tennessee. But knowing through the day that it was there, I kept looking up the wonders and awe of nature. It's awe-inspiring. You can see why the ancients had followed as far back in prehistory as we go. The sun was the center of our understanding of how the ebbs and flows of civilization worked. Even today, as it approached maximum, you could hear people cheering. But this is time immemorial energies that people understand. It's back again, the understanding. And if you think things are static in the heavens, I'll draw you back to 1902, King of the Planets. Notice that the storm is in the northern hemisphere in 1902. And earlier photos from 1891 through telescope confirm the same. The storm was in the northern hemisphere. Fast forward, the storm's in the southern hemisphere. Electromagnetism is the only possible explanation for the transit. And if we think about solar maximum, solar minimum, how the solar polar fields wander from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, Jupiter exhibits that over long time periods as well. Let's match them up. 1902 left, 2022 to the right. 120 years later. Better graphics, but still, same planet. Moving over to Uranus, another one of the quote-unquote gas giants. You notice the rings, and they also show jets coming out of the polar regions. The rings are bound really tightly, though. And when we look at rings spotted by Hubble, 2007 and 8, all the way really 2003, you start to see again the jets in 2007 pronounced. But the rings aren't really there, are they? Canada hopes to boost regulation on natural health products, otherwise known as supplements. This stretches across the border from Canada and the United States, both. And have you heard about nicotinamide mononucleotide, NMN? It's a derivative of vitamin B niacin, a precursor to NAD+, a compound for muscle regeneration, metabolism, and energy production in your body. And as we navigate into this grand solar minimum, food shortages, economic shifts, and our health are paramount. And this represents a tool in the adaptation toolkit, offering benefits like energy enhancement and anti-aging. But the FDA's potential reclassification threatens this access. We're all going to have to navigate the future with the changes. Give black forests NMN. a try. Remember, prepping out, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Lucky, buy 2, get 1 completely free, which makes it 3. Click on that link in the description box below. And now on with the video. If they were so tightly bound that we could see it through rudimentary telescopes at the turn of the last century, what happened to the rings? Well, 2014, you do see them. You see the equatorial band split there. But those rings have absolutely gone wavy loose and have expanded out of their tight bound formations. What do you think could cause that side by side? Electromagnetism and a shift in solar activity in the Birkeland current powering our star from further afield in the spiral arm of our galaxy explains exactly that. So why would I talk about the civilization cycle building into 2024 with extreme changes in electromagnetism? Well, it seems the world's poised to get ready for such changes. Our Earth will be between the sun and those 4 gas giants. Right there you go. About a year and a few weeks from today. If you were looking for signs, and because it's football weekend, the pre-party, you would look for things that would happen in the same vein of electromagnetism. Now this is the 7th, just about a week ago in the first week of October. You're looking from the Earth. This is the geocentric view. Now this is the max intensity of the evolving electromagnetic field as we will spin into max intensity about a year from now in 2024. Interesting events on those dates. In addition to what's happening in the Middle East on those same dates, Afghanistan's been rocked by the now 4th earthquake in the same area. This is October 11th. The 3rd had hit and it became quite the, wow, that's interesting. 3 quakes, same intensity, same area. That sounds like modern technology amplifying something, does it not? And then here we come into the 15th. And in that 7-day window, there's October 7th, right when that electromagnetism was at its max. We have now the 4th earthquake in the same area, but also 6.7 tremors rocking through Papua New Guinea. Mexico gets a 6.3. And I thought it rather strange as well. 4 6.3 earthquakes in the same area, starting on that electromagnetic intensity. Here we are, 6.3, 6.3, 6.3. Now I'm all for coincidences, but that exact magnitude, that could be amplified. HAARP, it could be anything on the human domain amplifying these natural changes to get a greater outcome. And that's the thing that I'm starting to really get a deeper understanding of, is what we're seeing on the natural end of things is subset A. But now run it with the technologies of known usage across the planet, and we could see how a natural cycle could be ridden on top of using our modern technology to amplify the effects and get a greater outcome. It's too coincidental, plus all of the things in the human domain going on in the resonance of emotion during that 7th, 8th, 9th ramp up in the Middle East, and all these earthquakes happening at the exact same time that the magnetic field high point was going to be reached during this amplification moving into 2024. A little coincidental. I can't believe that all those events happened on those days, and we came into max intensity on this evolving field, and just it was randomly happenstance squeezed into those few days. I think they understand how the magnetic field resonance in the brain works too for that amplified emotional output. But staying on the Earth changes, you know, how many dams can collapse in less than a month before you start to scratch your head and say, wow, that's a lot. I thought these things were built for 70 to 100 years. If we look at Sikkim, the Chungtang Dam breached as well. Before and after pictures for you coming off of Planet Labs here. Now the amount of water rolling down and barreling over that wall is one thing, but take a look at the streets post. How much land subsidence does that have to be to crack roads through the region to this magnitude along with collapsing dams? It was much more than just water. Electromagnetic, fingerprint yet again. And we have something very similar in Cameroon, October 9th. Some sort of giant landslide because of an overtopping lake then took out another set of dams, flooding the city. And then prior to that, we saw what had happened in Libya with the superstorm dumping and breaching 2 dams there, also washing through the city. Again, statistical possibility of many of these dams collapsing across our planet at the same time coming in through this magnetic field intensity is, they seem definitely connected. Very few people want to talk about it, but what happens now when you can understand how these magnetic fields can disrupt the human brain function? You got to realize our brains are electromagnetic. And if you know the disruption cycle on that, that might make sense why you look back in the past and you see all of these ancient cultures who worship the sun wearing different kind of headdresses draped with jade and gold, helmets, etc. Perhaps they knew something that would protect them from certain magnetic field changes. Because if you know when this field change is coming, you can absolutely ride on top of that emotion wave once again. We're back at it, and October 2024, with all the electromagnetic changes, our brains are going to decode reality differently during this time. Why so many changes across our culture and our world during these last few years, when all of this is amplifying, might be a better question. In a moment of Zen while we ski down the sand dunes, South America offering us a bevy of escapes from our minds. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is, looks like the slopes are always open here. The sun shall be looked at and worshipped once again. The known changes are here. Please get ready. Because Ransom Godwin and myself talk about this 2 hours at a time every Thursday night, 10 p.m. midnight, right on Rumble. And also the Mini Ice Age Conversations podcast YouTube channel, streaming live for those 2 hours. You can sign up for the show notes if you want to know what we talked about. We just bullet point everything. It's a simple one-pager. Offers you ideas to spark conversation with others. I do thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Bye for now.